your host, Jacqueline Job. Empowering others to excel with your host, Jacqueline Job. Are you ready to be transformed? I'm here to uplift, encourage, motivate, and inspire. Empowering others to excel with your host, Jacqueline Job.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. I am your host. I am your empowerment strategist. I am your accountability partner here to push you to the next. Thank you for tuning in this morning to Empowering Others to Excel. I want to first give a shout out to my WMEG listeners, those who are following and watching on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Good morning to you all. All right. I hope you all have had a great week. I hope you all have taken some of the advice, the strategies, and the tips that we discussed last session, and you used them, you implemented them, you took action, you took a stand to progress yourself, to move forward. I hope you all did that, because our topic from last week was creating a vision for your life, shifting from pain to prosperity. Shifting from pain to prosperity. So I hope you all use some of that information that you received last week to help you to grow. Now, if you want to know what last week's topic was about, go back to the YouTube channel and find it under Empowering Others to Excel. And you can look under the playlist, life changing moments. I think that's the playlist. It's something like that. You will see it. Go look on Empowering Others to Excel on YouTube, and you can find all of our sessions. They are all there for you to use, to glean back, to reflect upon. They are there for you. And if you have not subscribed to Empowering Others to Excel on YouTube, go and do that. Instagram, Facebook, do it all. All right. So good morning again to everyone who is tuning in. Our topic for today is following directions and being obedient. Following directions and being obedient. Now, I know for some of us, it is hard to always follow directions. Why is it hard? Because we already have this plan or this idea of how we want things to go. We all make them. We all have them. We have the plan and idea of how we want things to go. But then our directions are taking us another way. And we can't see the outcome from going in that direction. So we struggle. We struggle to figure out, am I going to be obedient? Am I going to follow the directions that were given to me, the instructions that were given to me? Or am I going to go ahead and do it the way that I see it working? So that is what we're going to be talking about today, following directions and being obedient. Because obedience is not about restrictions. Obedience is not about restrictions. And that's a lot of times we feel restricted when we have to be obedient, because we have to do it this way. And we're like, why can't we do it this way? Why can't we do it this way? But we have to learn to be obedient. It is not about restrictions. It's about redirecting us. It's about aligning us with our purpose. It's about helping us to get to our desired outcome without all of the stumbling blocks. So we have to learn to be obedient, and we have to learn to follow directions. Because when we are obedient and following our directions, it helps us to progress faster. It helps us to see the progression. I can't even get it out. The progression. All right. So now let's get into the topic for today. Why following directions matter. I mean, we just basically summed it up, but let's go into it a little bit deeper. Why following directions matter. This is the whole opening for this. Many people want the outcome. Yes, we do. We want that outcome, but they resist the instructions that lead to it. Following directions is often the difference between delay and destiny. Following directions is often the difference between delay and destiny. Because once again, sometimes we see it one way, we're given directions to go another way. If we go another way, we get to our destiny. We go the way that we can see, that only our eyes can see. And then there's delay. Why? Because there's stumbling blocks, there's obstacles. There were missed opportunities along the way. So it caused a delay. But if we were to follow the directions and we were to stay aligned to what was given, the instructions that were given, we would be on the path to success faster, quicker. And it would be a steady pace without all of the roadblocks or the hiccups. So now, why following directions matter? Why does it matter? Obedience connects us to our outcome that we cannot see yet. And that's another hurdle for us. It's just that we can't see it. Because when we plan things, we want to be able to see step by step. This is what's going to happen first. This is what's going to happen second. This is what's going to happen third, fourth, fifth. Finally, we get to the outcome that we want. But when we can't see it, it causes us to stop. It causes us to doubt ourselves. It causes us to look for different avenues because we can't see it. Our perception is not clear enough for us to see it. There isn't clarity for us to see it. But for those who are giving us instructions, they've been there, done that. So they can see more than what we can see. That's when you have those accountability partners and they have that wisdom. They have those years of experience. They can see past and beyond what we can see. So we're new to this. How they say it, we're new to this, but they've been true to this. They have already endured. They have overcome hurdles. They have overcome obstacles. They have passed the tests and the trials that have come their way. And here we come thinking we know everything because we have a passion and we have a desire and we want to see the end. We want to reach the end of what we're setting for ourselves. So we set this plan for ourselves. We've written it out. We have the steps and we're like, yeah, this looks good. This looks good. And I'm guilty of this. I am guilty of this. Then you have someone with wisdom and they come and they look at what it is that you're trying to do. Or they listen to you talk and they can see the passion. They can feel it. They can feel the energy coming from you. And they're like, okay, yes, she wants to do this. Yes, he wants to do this. Yes, this is their desire. This is their heart's desire. And then they're like, okay, I want to tag team with them and I want to help them get there. And you're getting excited because you're like, yes, this person who has wisdom, this person who has experience, they're coming alongside me and they're going to help me. They're going to push me. They're going to encourage me. And you're excited about this. You're excited like, yes, okay, we're going to do this. But then they start giving you that wisdom. And you start listening to that wisdom. And then now you're starting to back up like, I don't know about this. I don't know about this. And you're trying to figure out what's going on. Why? Because you see your path going a certain way. But they already been there, done that. And they know what it is that you need to do. So they're giving you instructions on what it is that you need to do. But you're like, I don't see it. I don't see it. So instead of following the directions from those who have the wisdom, those who've already been through, they passed the test. You're going to go with what you see. So now you're working along, you're busy, you're toiling, you're getting things done. And you're like, see, I knew I could do this. I could do this. Then you hit this stumbling block and you're like, oh my goodness, I wasn't expecting this. And then you go back to your mentor, the one who's giving you the words of wisdom, and they're telling you, yes, but if you would have done this, then you could have avoided this. And then now you're like, oh, okay. But see, once again, we're still excited about doing it, which you should be, but we still want to do it our way. So now they're still going to give you wisdom because they're your mentor. They want to see you succeed. They're going to give you some more directions. Okay, I want you to do this, and then I want you to do this. And you're sitting there and you're listening to what they're saying. You're listening to what they're saying, but you're like, but I wanted to do this first, and then I wanted to swing back to that. And they're trying to explain to you it's not going to work that way. You need to do this and do that. But then what do? I'm going to try it my way. I'm going to try it my way. And so now you're trying it your way. And as a mentor, they're going to respect you. They're going to let you go ahead and they're going to let you try it. But they're going to be there and they're going to be watching you. And then when you hit that next stumbling block, that roadblock, and then you're going to go back to them and you're going to be like, you know what, this and this happened. And then you're going to like, okay, now I see what's going on here. And then you're going to look at them and say, okay, tell me what I need to do now, and I will follow the directions. But this is the thing that we have to understand. When we have those individuals who have been placed in our lives to give us directions, and you know for surety that that's what they're there for, we need to be obedient and we need to heed the directions that they're telling us. Because we, yes, human beings, we want to do it our way. We want to do it our way. I know this. This is me. We want to do it our way. But the directions we're given, you need to do it this way. I don't see it that way. I can't see it. So I'm going to go ahead and do it my way. And then you mess up. And then you go back to them like, okay, this is what happened. So we need to learn to take heed and we need to learn to follow the directions so that way we can avoid some of these hurdles that we're going through. We can avoid some of these disappointments that we have experienced if we would have followed directions, if we would have been obedient. So that is what the topic is today. We're talking about following directions and obedience. And now we're talking about why following directions matter. Because it helps us to avoid a lot of situations that we don't have to be in. Okay, so now I have a question for you. Where in your life do you know what to do, but haven't done it? I must ask the question again. Where in your life do you know what to do, but you haven't done it? And you're like, what? This is what the question is saying. You have been given instructions already. From whomever, you have been given instructions on what it is that you need to do for your next steps. But you have not moved on those instructions. Where in your life is that right now? And then the next question that I'm going to ask you is, why haven't you moved? Why haven't you been obedient? That is my next question to you. Why haven't you moved and why haven't you been obedient? And so now from that question, we're going to talk about what it means to be obedient. What it means to be obedient. First, obedience means listening with intention. Listening with intention. Now, this is what I mean when I say listening with intention. Somebody is giving you directions. They're giving you instructions. You're listening. And as you're listening, you are actually comprehending what it is that they're saying. So it's not like they're saying, okay, Jackie, this is what I want you to do. I want you to walk 2 blocks down the street. Then I want you to look over your shoulder and see if there's a person in a black suit standing there. If you see the person in the black suit, I want you to walk 2 more blocks down the street. Then I want you to look over your shoulder and I want you to see if you see a person in a black suit standing there. If the person in the black suit is standing there, I want you to turn around and I want you to introduce yourself to the person in the black suit. Those were the directions. If you were listening intentionally, now I hope I remember what I just said. If you were listening intentionally while they're talking, you are either writing notes or in your head, you're saying, walk 2 blocks. Look over shoulder, person in black suit. If yes, walk 2 more blocks. Look over shoulder, person in black suit. Hi, my name is. That's listening intentionally. Now, if they gave the directions and while they're talking, you're thinking, what am I going to cook today? Or you're thinking, why I gotta walk 2 blocks? Why can't I just look down because I can see from here? Okay, this is how we go. This is how we are. I can just look down the street right now and see, yeah, there's a man right there. And it looked like he got a black suit on. So why I gotta walk down there? I can see that from here. And then you look again and you're like, okay, I'm looking. I see something that looked like somebody else got on something black down there. But that's not following the directions. That's not being intentional. That's you trying to figure out a shortcut to doing the directions that were given, the instructions that were given. So we have to learn to listen with intention. Step 2, obedience means trusting guidance, even when unclear. Trusting the guidance, even when it's unclear. So for you, you're probably thinking, okay, what does this person in the black suit have to do with anything? And why do I have to look over my shoulder to see if they're there? Like, why can't I just turn around? Because the direction said look over your shoulder. And then you're probably thinking, why do I have to introduce myself to this? How would this person want to help me along the way? But you have to trust the guidance that you are given. Even when you don't understand it, you have to learn to trust it. Because once again, the person that you are receiving the instructions from, they have been vetted. You have tested them out. What they're giving you is wisdom. What they're giving you is discernment. They're giving you what they've already been through. So that is why you have, when you're being obedient and you're listening, you have to already know that person that you're listening to is somebody that you trust wholeheartedly. Next one. Good morning, Miss Diane. Good morning. The next one, obedience means acting on what you know is right. Acting on what you know is right. So now for this one, acting on what you know is right. You're being obedient. You're doing the steps that they said. But when you're doing the steps that they said, you're also registering, evaluating to make sure that it is lining up with your spirit. Not cockiness or pride, but you're making sure that it aligns with your spirit and you know that it's right. And the last one, obedience means following through consistently. Following through consistently. So once again, the example I gave you, the instructions were walk 2 blocks down the street, stop, look over your shoulder, see if you see the man in the black suit. If you see the man in the black suit, walk 2 more blocks down the street, stop, look over your shoulder. If you see the man in the black suit, introduce yourself. Those were the directions. Follow through with consistency, man. You're going to do every single step. You're going to do every single step that person gave to you. So that is following through with consistency. Now, I need people to understand obedience is not weakness. Because sometimes we're going to be given directions or instructions that in our eyes, it may be beneath us. And you're like, why do I have to do that? Like, that is not for me. But you have to understand obedience is not weakness. It is discipline. It is trust in actions. So, for example, you already know that you have this desired outcome. Let's say, for example, you're seeking to be a public speaker. I'm just saying this as an example. You're seeking to be a public speaker. But the person that you're mentoring, they start you out by having you work their events. And as you're working their events, they want you to start by cleaning up the event space. Now, remember, this is your mentor. This is the person that you trust that's helping you to get to your next. And they start out by having you cleaning out the workspace. And then while you're cleaning out the workspace, they tell you that if you see people, be polite, speak to them. And you're looking like, first of all, why I got to clean out your workspace? How is this helping me? Remember, obedience is discipline. It is discipline. It's trust in actions. Next time you go, your mentor tells you that they want to have you greet the people when they come in and they want you to walk them to their seats. And then the mentor tells you, while you're walking the people to their seat, ask them about their day. And in your head, you're going, why do I need to ask them about their day? Like, first of all, why do I need to be walking people to their seat? You got ushers for that. So, like, why do I need to be doing that? Once again, you need to remember obedience is discipline. It is trust in actions. Obedience is helping you to plan. It's helping you to get to your next, but you have to follow the instructions. So now the next event comes. Your mentor says, I want you to introduce me. So now I want you to write a small bio or introduction for me. And now you like, okay, I'm getting somewhere now. Yes, this is in the vein or the lane of public speaking. Okay. So now you get up. Guess what? You're comfortable enough to get up and speak to the crowd or the audience. Why? Because the mentor has been preparing you all along. The mentor started you out with cleaning the venue area. Why? Because you were getting the lay of the land. You were getting the lay of the land, so you were becoming familiar in that space, but yet you couldn't see it. But this is why following directions is so important. Next event. Oh, and also the mentor told you while you were cleaning the event space, if you saw somebody, talk to them. Why? Because you want to be a public speaker. So that means you have to learn to speak to people. See, the mentor knows what they're doing, but we have to trust the process. Next time the mentor told you they wanted you to be a host. They wanted you to greet people as they came in. They wanted you to walk them to their seats, but then also ask them about their day. Why? The mentor was preparing you. The mentor was getting you ready for speaking because now you know the lay of the land. You know how to just randomly spark a conversation based off of the first time you were there. Now you're starting conversations off of the fly and you're learning to carry those conversations based off what the people tell you. So you're greeting them. Hi, my name is Jackie. How are you doing today? How was your day? You're listening for their response. Once they tell you your response, then you have to think on the fly, what are you going to say next? So if they say there's something bad, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry to hear that. I hope your day gets better. I'll be thinking about you. I'll be praying for you. If they give you some good news, oh my goodness, that is so exciting. Congratulations. So what's your next steps? And all of that, the mentor is training you. But as you see it, you're seeing this is something that's beneath you, but they are preparing you for your next. And all you have to do is be obedient, and you have to walk in that obedience, and you have to follow those instructions. And then once that time comes for you, guess what? You're going to be ready. So the next step was the mentor told you, yes, and see, while I'm talking, Nikki, yes, that is exactly what I was thinking in my head while I was talking. Nikki said, so like wax on, wax off experience. Yes. For those who don't know what she's talking about, Karate Kid. He had to go through all of that training and in order for him to get prepared to fight. So as he was going through, he thought, this stuff is not helping me. But then once the coach stepped in and told him to do a certain maneuver and the coach did a jab, he was able to block it. He was prepared. Yes, that is the exact same thing that's going on right here with the scenario about the mentor. So the last step with the mentor told you to write a biography or a short introduction introducing her. And you're getting excited because you're like, now you're starting to do those things that you're supposed to do. So now you get up there and guess what? You're not afraid. Why? Because you didn't already work the room. You know the layout. You know how to greet people. Some of the people are going to be familiar because they're going to be coming to different events. You know how to gauge and read the room. You know how to read the body language. You know how to respond when somebody says something to you. So now you're up there, you're standing at the platform, you're feeling good, like, all right, it is my time to shine now. And you're standing up there and you get up and you look around the room. The nerves aren't there because you are already comfortable in that atmosphere. And you can get up and now you can introduce your mentor. So these are the things that I need you to understand, that following directions, being obedient, it is a process. It is a process. So I don't want you to think that obedience is weakness. Yes, there may be some things that your mentor, your leader, whomever the individual, God, whoever the individual might tell you to do. And you be like, like that is beneath me. Like, what are we doing here? But you have to realize that is teaching you discipline. Those steps are teaching you discipline. And in the process of teaching you discipline, now you're learning to trust the actions. You're learning to trust those actions. But remember, this is all just a preparing phase. It's just preparing you for your next. It is getting ready for your next. It is providing you with the experience that you need. So when you get to that plateau that you need to be on, you are ready for it. So now I want to give you another example. Because the question that I asked was, going back to the question I asked you, where in your life do you know what to do, but haven't done it yet? Good morning, Brianna. Good morning, Brianna. Where in your life do you know what to do, but haven't done it yet? So now here we are. Example. You know you need to set a boundary, but you haven't done it yet. Now, walking in obedience means, guess what? You're going to set that boundary. Good morning, Care Cozy. I see you. Good morning. Walking in obedience means you're going to set that boundary. Following the directions or instructions, you're setting the boundary. Why? Because that boundary is helping you. It is helping you, especially if you already know, for example, you're talking to your life coach and you and your life coach, or you're talking to your therapist and your therapist has already identified that you have these different triggers. You have these different reactions to things that happen in your life. So the therapist is now saying, okay, this is what I want you to do. I want you to remove yourself from this situation, because every time you're in this situation, this is what happens. First this happens, then this happens, and then this happens. So I want you to remove yourself from the situation. Ignore my voice change, y'all. I'm trying to get in the role character. And then first thing you like, why I gotta remove myself from that situation? I'm comfortable there. I like it there. But guess what? The person with the wisdom, the person who is teaching you discipline, is telling you what it is that you have to do. But you want to do it your way, and then a situation happens. And then you come back, I didn't listen, and I did it again. Exactly. So remember, obedience is not weakness. It is discipline. Trust in actions. You have to follow through. You have to be obedient. You have to do what is needed. Another example, you know you need to start. Why haven't you started yet? You're watching right now. You have said you're going to start this. Might be, I'm going to go to school, back to school. I'm going to start my own cooking classes. I'm going to start this. I'm going to start this. I'm going to start this. And you keep saying, I'm going to start. But then it's like, when? Next month. I'll start next month. When? Maybe in a couple of months when it gets warmer outside. Ooh. Y'all, that was me right there. That was me, because I'm supposed to start walking. And I keep saying, I'm going to start. But I did start in January, but I fell off. See, that hit me at home, because I'm supposed to start walking. And then I was like, ooh, I'm going to wait till it get warm outside. But why can't I start right now? Just put on a hoodie and go. So see, that one was me. So I just got convicted. Okay. So you need to start. And then obedience is taking the first step. Obedience is taking the first step. So I need to be obedient, and I need to start. I need to be obedient, and I need to start. So some of you on here who know how to reach me, I want y'all to hold me accountable. I am going to start walking. Because I cannot get on here and tell you all different strategies to help you out, and then I don't follow my own directions. So I am going to start walking. See, I'm going to be obedient. That right there just got me. Okay, so now let's move on to the next one. Why we struggle with obedience. Why do we struggle with obedience? Here are the common reasons. Wanting control. You want to control everything. But if you have to be obedient, you're giving away that control. You're not in control of the different situations that happen. Nikki said being lazy or having self-doubt. Yes, that is a reason why we struggle. How about fear of the unknown? We struggle with obedience because we don't know what's going to happen next, and we don't like that. That's a reason why we struggle with obedience. Delayed gratification. Oh my goodness. Yes, because we want it our way. We want it quick, fast, and in a hurry. We want to be able to see the fruits of our labors right now. So that being obedient and it's saying, wait, you got to wait. And you're going, why? Like I did everything. It's right there. Why do I have to wait? And you got to wait. And it's just like, oh my goodness. And I can say this, for example, this past week alone, I had some thoughts running around in my mind. And I was like, should I share these thoughts? Like, should I share these thoughts with the individuals? Like, should I share them? And it was like, no. Because you know how sometimes you have thoughts running around in your mind and you want to share them, not like you're laying people out or fussing, but you want to share them because you feel as though if you're sharing them with somebody else, it's giving you that release that you need. But the thing about it is you don't realize how, if you share those things, how it might affect the other person. And then it might derail the whole situation. So I have these thoughts and I'm like, should I share? And so I'm pondering, like, should I share? And God was like, no. And I was just like, oh. So I'm like, okay. But as the week progressed, these thoughts, they were just there. And then the thing about it is we need to reframe. I keep telling y'all, when we need to reframe. When we have those negative thoughts, we need to reframe them into positive thoughts. So as my week was going on, I had to keep reframing my thoughts. I had to keep looking at the positive and not the negative, because the devil was throwing all the negative in my face this week. And that negative was making me annoyed and irritated. And it was causing me to be frustrated all this week. So I had to stop and I had to keep reframing it and looking at the positive of it, looking at the positive outcome, the positive results. I had to be grateful. I had to look for gratitude. But the enemy was trying to get me this week. And so I had to keep reframing it. And then I was like, okay. And then yesterday, I just happened to watch one of these videos. I like watching these little short, Darman encouraging videos on Facebook. And I'm sitting here watching this thing and I'm like, oh my goodness, this video is almost talking about me to the T. And I'm just like, oh, okay. And in that video, the person had to keep what it was that they were saying because it wasn't the appropriate time to say it. And I'm like, okay, God, I hear you. Got it. So I didn't say anything. And then in the process of going throughout the week, guess what? The load was getting lightened. It was getting easier to carry. And then by yesterday, I'm just like, it doesn't even matter anymore. Because the positivity won over. The enemy wanted to see everything in a negative light. So it was showing me all of the negative things, highlighting the negative things. And I'm in there and it's starting to bombard my mind, but I had to keep pulling out the positive. This is the positive. This is a positive. This is a positive. This is a positive. And then just being in a place of relaxation, being still. And after a while, it was just like, okay, positivity won. And I don't have to share anything. I don't have to say anything because it resolved itself. And I'm just like, that is what obedience is, being obedient. Because I could have opened my mouth and I could have said something. And then it would have been a bunch of chaos. But you have to learn to trust the process. Trust the one who is giving you the wisdom. And you have to follow through on it. That is the whole thing of being obedient and following directions. You have to learn to follow through on the instructions. You have to learn that when you're being obedient, it is not silencing your voice. It is not diverting your plan or diverting your path, but it's just helping you to get there in a better way. So you have to just understand that. So where did I stop? Okay, a common reason we struggle with obedience, doubt in the outcome. You doubt the outcome because you can't see it that way, so you're doubting it. And then the last one is discomfort with change. Discomfort with change. You don't like change because when you have to change, that means other things have to change. That change affects more than just that one situation. And you don't like that because once again, now you're losing control. You see how it all ties together. Because once you change something, you're losing control over what it is that you're changing. And then you have to embrace the new. And when you embrace the new, that means you're learning things all over again. You're being reintroduced to things. And in that process of being reintroduced to things, you're feeling uncomfortable because it's not fluid to you yet. It's not something that you can just flow through. You're stumbling through. You're trying to figure out the pieces as you go. And you do not like that. But remember, when you are following directions, you need to learn to trust the process. Yes, it may be uncomfortable and you don't like it, but you have to learn to trust the process. There. I'm going to say a disclaimer, but it ain't a disclaimer. The disobedience feels easier in the moment. Disobedient feels easier in the moment, but it costs you more over time. Disobedient feels easier in the moment because you'll be like, I can just do this. And you decide to go ahead and do that. And then later on down the road, it costs you something. It cost you something. It could have cost you time. It could have cost you friendships, relationships. It could have cost you your job, cost you your life. It cost you something. So you need to realize that it is better to be obedient. It is better to be obedient. Now, also, this is a statement that I want to leave with you. What you delay in obedience, you delay in progress. What you delay in obedience, you delay in progress. Now, this is the cost of not following directions. The cost of not following directions is you delay the progress. The cost of not following directions, when we ignore the directions, we experience unnecessary setbacks. Yep. When we ignore the directions, we repeat cycles. Yep. Because you say you want to be that person who breaks the cycles that's going on in your family. In order for you to be able to break those cycles, first you need to know what the cycles are. Then you need to follow the instructions given to somebody who has already been there, done that. You have to follow those instructions. You have to set up that plan and follow through on that plan. But if you don't follow through on that plan or follow through on the instructions, what happens? You're going to repeat the cycles. And this is one of those things when you're trying to break the cycles, it is going to be uncomfortable. It is going to be uncomfortable, but you have to build discipline. You have to be consistent because it is going to be uncomfortable and you're going to be faced with challenges. You're going to be faced with obstacles. You're going to start to self-doubt and you're going to say, do I really need to do this? But you have to think about the why. Why do you want to break these cycles? You want freedom. You want freedom for yourself. You want freedom from your family. You want security. You are breaking the cycle because you want security. You're breaking the cycle because you want to know who you are and not what everybody else is telling you. So you have to understand that when you break the cycles, it is going to be uncomfortable. But you have to be disciplined. You have to be able to do that, what you need to do and follow those directions. Next one, when we ignore directions, we create confusion. We create a lot of unnecessary confusion. And then we want to sit there and be pouting and complaining and whining. But we did it to ourselves because we did not follow the directions. And now we mad with everybody else. Because now we got to figure out how we're going to clean up this mess. And then start all over again. This is what happens when we ignore directions. When we ignore directions, we miss opportunities. We miss opportunities because somebody is setting you up for success. And you chose to ignore the direction. So that opportunity passed you by. When we ignore directions, we feel frustrated with slow progress. We feel frustrated with slow progress. And you're like, well, this is me now, but I didn't ignore the directions. But somewhere in those directions, it was telling you to understand that you need to take the small steps. In those directions, it was telling you that you have to be patient. In those directions, it was telling you that you have to be grateful for what it is that you do have. In those directions, it's telling you that in all things you need to give thanks. And if you were following those directions, you will understand that slow progress is preparing you. But this is what happens when we ignore the directions. Sometimes it's not that the path wasn't working. It was that we did not follow the directions. So the path was set and the path was supposed to work, but we did not follow the direction. We chose to do our own thing. Now, we want to be obedient. So let's talk about the benefits of being obedient. 1, following directions gives you clarity. It gives you clarity because there are often times when we're trying to do something, we don't know what it is that we need to do. But you can always seek out wisdom from others. And once they give you the directions, once you know, yes, this is a trusted source. Yes, this aligns with what it is that I'm trying to do. It's going to give you clarity. It's going to give you understanding. It's going to make you feel comfortable with the decision that you have made. Following directions builds discipline. It builds discipline. So once again, I'm going to start walking. And if I walk every day, baby steps. I'm going to take baby steps. There's 7 days in the week. Let's start. I'm going to walk 3 days out the week. I had to remember, take small steps. Don't try to jump in head first and do it all, because you're going to get frustrated. You're going to be disappointed if you do stumble and fall and come short. So baby steps. There are 7 days in the week. I'm going to start walking 3 days out the week. This is going to build my discipline. This is going to discipline me to the point that I can start adding more days once I get used to doing my 3 days a week. That's what it's talking about with discipline. You're programming yourself. You're going to be consistent with it. And then you're going to see the results that you want. So here's hoping. Here we go. 3 days a week. 3 days a week, marking it. March 28th. Start walking 3 days a week. All right. Next one. We develop trust. Trust in ourselves and trust in God. When we follow directions, we develop trust. So there's a lot of things that we want to do, but we don't feel comfortable doing it. But if we're given instructions on how to do it, our confidence is being built up. Our trust in ourselves is being built up. Our faith is being built up. So this is what happens when you're following directions. This is the benefit of being obedient. Next one, you move forward with purpose. You move forward with purpose. Remember, we want to be intentional about these things. So we're moving forward with purpose. Why? Because it's a benefit of being obedient when we follow directions. You'll be like, I can see clearly now, the rain has gone. So now you're moving forward purpose. You can see, you have gained that clarity. You have built the discipline. You have developed trust. Now you're moving forward with purpose. And then the next one, when you follow directions, you avoid unnecessary detours. It's going to be a brighter. I don't remember the last line. Bright, cloudy day. I don't remember. Bright, sunny day. I don't remember the line. But yes, that's what's happening. So once again, the benefits of being obedient. You follow directions. What happened? You gain clarity. You build discipline. You develop trust in yourself and God. You move forward with purpose. And you avoid unnecessary detours. Avoid unnecessary detours. All right, I got somebody who's going to be doing the same thing. Yes, I'll be doing this with you 3 days a week, walking. Yes, we're going to hold each other accountable. Send you a message. Did you walk? What are your days? Matter of fact, send me a message, Nikki. Let me know when are your days, because that way I'm going to check up on you to make sure you're walking. So pick your 3 days and let me know. Unless they're going to be random days, then go ahead and be sending you messages out the week. Did you walk today? Yeah. We're going to get it done. Yes. All right. So now, obedience often precedes understanding. Obedience often precedes understanding. So what does that mean? Does that mean you're going to know everything before you have to be obedient? No. That means you have to walk in obedience with uncertainties. You have to walk in obedience with uncertainties. You have to walk in obedience without knowing the next steps, without being able to see what's going to happen. You're going to have doors, door number 1, door number 2, door number 3, door number 4. And they're going to tell you to go through door number 3. You're going to be like, but I don't know what's behind door number 3. Go through door number 3. So what do you have to do? Be obedient and go through door number 3. Because you might go through door number 1 and it's going to take you almost 195 days just to get the outcome that you were going to get if you would have went through door number 3. So you have to be obedient. You don't need to understand the why. You don't need to know all of the directions. You don't need to know it all. Just be obedient. Be obedient. Follow the directions. And you will gain clarity as you go. You will gain understanding as you go. You're going to gain wisdom as you go. Now, obedience in everyday life. What does this mean? What does this look like? Being obedient in everyday life. First one, obedience shows up in small decisions, daily habits. That's how obedience shows up. So you're like, okay, give me an example. Small decisions, daily habits. It could be every day. I'm going to say one positive thing about myself when I get up in the morning. That's obedience. Why? Because that one positive thing that you're saying about yourself every morning is setting the tone for you for the rest of the day. So that is you pouring into yourself first thing in the morning. Before anybody else can pour into you, before anybody else can say anything that's going to distract you or deter you from what it is that you want to do, you're going to pour into yourself. That's how obedience can show up. Obedience can show up in relationships, setting boundaries, communications. Meaning, what does this mean? This means in relationships, you can have your boundaries set, the boundaries that you know you need in order to be successful in this relationship. Because for too long, you have allowed chaos. You have allowed dysfunction. You have allowed your values, your morals, your belief to be walked upon because you had a closed mouth, but you wanted this relationship to last. You wanted this relationship to be there because you just like the fact of having people. These people might not be beneficial to you, but it's just the fact that you like having people, that you decided to keep them. So you let your boundaries lax. So now being obedient shows up in boundary relationships, setting those boundaries. Communicating, open your mouth. Open your mouth. But if I say this, it might be the end. But guess what? If you already question it in your head that you need to say this, it probably needs to be the end. Sorry, not sorry. You need to open your mouth. Set the boundaries. Set the boundaries. If it's for you, it will be for you. If it's not for you, guess what? It will be displayed through the actions of the individual once the boundaries are set. If they cannot respect your boundaries, they're not respecting you. That's in relationships. Next one, obedience shows up in personal growth, discipline, and learning. Discipline and learning. Obedience shows up in personal growth, discipline, and learning. So what does this mean? This means if you choose that you want to take on a new task, a new venture, you want to go back to school or something, discipline means you're taking those classes, you're learning what you need to learn because you want to see that growth in you. Being disciplined, for example, personal growth right now, being disciplined, going back out and starting to walk again, that is going to be discipline for me. Why? Because I like walking. My knee don't like the fact that I like walking, but I like walking. Because when I walk, it clears I go out there and I'm clearing my head. I'm talking to God. I'm thinking about things. I'm reflecting on things that happen. I'm planning for the future. I do all that when I walk, and I love it. And that is building discipline. That is allowing me to have my quiet time. So those are those kind of things. Personal growth. What are you doing for your personal growth? Obedience shows up in that. Next one, obedience shows up in faith. Obedience shows up in faith, trusting God's guidance. Trusting God's guidance. What God is saying to do, you need to trust and believe that He is not leading you astray. Trust Him. Yes, once again, you might not understand it, you might not see it, but trust Him. It's easier to trust Him than to have to go through everything else. That don't mean you're not going to go through some things. Because while we're going through some things, we are learning. We're growing. But you still need to have that faith and believe and trust God. And then the last one, obedience shows up in purpose. It shows up in purpose. Taking steps even when unsure. Taking steps even when unsure. And that is one of our main struggles. We just want to be sure. Like, we don't want to go out here and just fall. We don't want to fail. We don't want to fall in our face. We don't want to embarrass ourselves. We don't want to look crazy. That is basically summed it up. We don't want to start something and then not succeed at it. But you have to be obedient. If this is what has been spoken over you, this is what you need to do, then guess what? You need to create that plan and you need to walk it out. So when you feel led to rest, you're tired. What is obedience? Rest without guilt. Because a lot of us say, I can't stop. I got to do this. I got to do this. If you're tired, your body is saying, I need you to slow down. Guess what? Be obedient to your body. Be obedient to your body. Slow down. Rest. And then you can pick it up after you finish resting. You feel led to step out. Obedience is moving despite fear. So you want to step out and act upon this desire that you have. Guess what? Step out. Don't let fear stop you. Step out. Shine bright. Because you can do all things. So that is walking in obedience. That is examples of obedience in everyday life. Now, how to strengthen your ability to be obedient. I got to leave you with these practical steps. How to strengthen your ability to be obedient. 1, be still and listen. Be still and listen. 2, create spaces to hear direction clearly. Create spaces to hear direction clearly. So sometimes, I'm going to give you a quick example. So sometimes you might be out with a bunch of people and somebody spoke a word. They spoke something. I'm not talking about spoke a word like preached or prophesied to you. No, they said something that just hit on what you were been going through or something that you was thinking. But you're out with a bunch of people. So you're like, this is not the time to ask that person to expound on what it is that they said. So what do? Create a space to hear directions clearly. Go to that person and say, hey, when you said this and this, it resonated with me. Can we set up a time so that we can discuss this further? Because this is something that I am dealing with right now, and I need some wisdom, words of wisdom. There you go. That's how you do that. Number 3, write it down. Practical steps to strengthen your ability to be obedient. Write it down. 4, create clarity increases when you document guidance. So once again, when you write it down, you can always go back and reread it. And when you reread it, you might get a different understanding from it that happened the first time around. So you're getting more enlightenment from it. 5, take immediate action. Take immediate action. 6, don't overthink what you already know. Don't overthink what you already know. You already know it. So why we keep thinking about you already know it? Just do it. 7, start small. Start small. Start small. Once again, you start large, you're going to get overwhelmed. Start small. 8, obedience in small things builds trust for bigger things. Obedience in small things build trust for bigger things. 9, stay consistent. Stay consistent. Stay consistent. Stay consistent. 10, Repetition builds discipline. Y'all see what I did there? Repetition builds discipline. Repeat. Repeat. Rinse, wash, repeat. Rinse, wash, repeat. Rinse, wash, repeat. Repetition builds discipline. All right, so now I'm going to, how about no? But yes, our time is winding down. Reflection questions. These are the questions that I have for you. These are the questions I have for you. What is something I have been instructed to do but have delayed? That's already been asked early in the session. What is something I have been instructed to do but have delayed? 2, what is holding me back from being obedient? What is holding me back from being obedient? 3, what is one step I can take this week to follow through? What is one step I can take this week to follow through? And I can already say that me and Nikki, we already said what our steps are going to be for the walking. We're going to walk 3 days out this week. And we're going to continue that because we have to repeat until we can build up some more days. So those are the questions that I want you to think about. Now, in closing, obedience unlocks your next steps. Obedience unlocks your next steps. You may be waiting for clarity, but clarity often comes from obedience, not before. So you get those aha moments like, oh my goodness, I didn't see that. No, you didn't see that, honey, because you weren't obedient. So once you are obedient, those things will come. So you have to understand that you've been waiting for clarity, but clarity often comes after obedience. So this is the declaration that I want you to say for this week. I will listen, trust, and act. I will follow directions even when it's uncomfortable. I understand that my obedience is connected to my growth. Once again, I will listen, trust, and act. I will follow directions even when it's uncomfortable. Yep. I understand that my obedience is connected to my growth. And I want to leave you with this final thought. Your next has been waiting on you to be obedient. Your next has been waiting on you to be obedient. You've been crying out. You've been saying, I don't understand. Why is this not happening for me? Because you haven't been obedient. You're saying, I've done all of the things. Have you really? I want you to go back and look at all the things that you have done. Somewhere in there, you weren't obedient. Your next is connected to your obedience. Your obedience means you might have to give up something. Your obedience means you might have to go get something. Your obedience means you might have to mend something. Whatever it is that you have to be obedient on for your next to come for you, because while we are we're working towards becoming that individual that we want to be. So whatever your next is that you're desiring, you need to stop and think, am I being obedient? Am I doing what I am supposed to be doing? What was I told to do that I didn't do? And you need to go back and do it. Because your obedience, your next, they are linked and tied together. And I want you all to get your heart's desire. So I thank you all for tuning in today with me for empowering others to excel. I hope you all have received something from this session. This session on following directions and being obedient. I hope you all have received something today. I want you to take those steps. I want you to work those steps in. What we talked about for your daily life tasks, I want you to do those things. Incorporate something every day. Make sure you're being obedient every day. And if you got to come back and look at this video, go on YouTube, find the video, following directions and being obedient. Because what I want you to do, once again, I am your accountability partner. I am here to uplift you, motivate you, encourage you, inspire you, help you to get to your next. So I want everybody to take those steps, do those steps, and make sure that while you're walking this walk this week and for the rest of your life, you are being obedient. Why? Because your next is connected to your obedience. All right, guys. I want you all to be blessed, be blessed, be blessed. All right. For those who tune into Human Nature next, Human Nature will not be airing today. Why? Because Nikki is being obedient and she is taking a self-care day. You got to do what you got to do. Do not feel guilty about it. We'll tune into you next week, Nikki. All right, y'all. Y'all be blessed.
Empowering others to excel with your host, Jacqueline Job. Empowering others to excel with your host, Jacqueline Job. Are you ready